Hello, and welcome to Dylan fucked up one small thing. Hi, and welcome to Unfettered while I fix a camera thing. I think we're on to episode 5 now, which means we've been doing this for more than a month? Which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Crispy, how you doing, Mr. Got Your Back to Us?
Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Glad we talked. Alright, top hat, please.
Got my haircut today.
Grass? It looks good. You really...
But I'm wearing headphones. This is the only way that this will not pull back into a ponytail. So this is how it's going to be for the next couple weeks until it gets just a bit longer. I won't have this eye. That's my life.
That's cool. You're just... Constance is going through a period of discovering herself, and really nobody understands her at the moment, so...
Really? Nobody understands her? I mean, I guess nobody is pretty edgy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So for the rest of the class, nobody was a character in a previous campaign. Which, yeah, that choice of name led to much confusion and fake confusion throughout the campaign.
Like 90% of it was fake confusion.
Yeah. And, I was glad that we weren't playing with that character anymore, because I didn't have to deal with that shit anymore. But yet! This is why I drink. As for me, I've been alright. I started playing some new games this week. I played Mirror's Edge Catalyst on stream on Wednesday, and then promptly played like 4 more hours off stream and ended up having to upload that. Because that's real good. And I started playing Homeworld, which I had heard of, and when I was maybe, I don't know, 6, one of my parents played that, and all I remember is like a lot of spaceships and a voice being like, "Your mothership is under attack," a bunch of times, and I was like, that game seems scary. So I checked it out because it was on sale on Steam, and holy shit, that game is fucking beautiful. It's a space RTS, but whereas StarCraft is a standard RTS just in space, Homeworld, you have a fleet that you make, and you have a shitload of spaceships that you're flying around, and you're like the last vestiges of your culture trying to survive. And it's really cool, but it's also really time consuming, because you have spaceships going through space at spaceship speed, which is not very fast. But yeah, that's been my week, has been streaming and games and blah. So yeah, cheers. But it looks like I've finally got everything working on the stream, I think. Got the chat there, got the cameras.
Did you say chairs?
Chairs? No. So why don't we stop talking about chairs and...
Oh, come on. At least be a little bit charitable. Look, it looks like you're just cherry picking.
Alright.
You go with them.
Alright, top hat. You're the GM now. I'm out.
Alright, top hat.
Level
Cherish
20
this.
now.
Cherish this.
And vorpal swords for everyone.
Sounds about good.
I would just like to state for the record that I hate both of you. Let's play some D&D, shall we? But first...
A lot of time with people he hates.
I do. It's a masochism thing. Before we play some D&D, let's listen to me talk for 1 to 2 minutes about things that you may or may not care about. By which I mean, let's have a cutscene. So, today's episode, after our credits roll, we open on a young woman that we saw briefly at the end of episode 3. She's laying on sort of like a bench seat in what looks like the cabin of a ship, and she's holding a folded piece of paper above her, reading it. And she, we see her read it and furrow her brow, and then, drop her arm down beside her and close her eyes and sort of like massage her brow. And our camera zooms in on the letter, and we see the words, we zoom in on your father, and then we get a quick cut to the signature on the letter, and it says Albert Vessinger. And then we go back to the more like room-sized establishing shot, and she sets the letter down, sighs, and sits up, stands, stretches, and buttons her military coat and steps outside. And the sound for our shot goes from like this very quiet contemplative sound to like a loud bustling, lots of Foley, lots of background noise as people are moving around on the deck of the ship. And she steps out and up toward the rear deck of the ship, and she looks out, and our camera sweeps back, and we can see a city in the desert. She's standing on the back of this ship over one of the cities in Maradun. We hear some footsteps behind her, and a voice says, "Captain Vessinger, I presume?" She says, "Yes, what of it?" She turns. "I have a proposition for you." And it's Molokai Kent. And then we cut to Captain Albert Vessinger in the dark of the night in Dun Simic, as you are making your way with Zaire back to the ship. What do you do?
So at the moment, he's just kind of like, every once in a while, Albert, like shakes his head, like rubs his forehead, and just kind of generally does like makes these like kind of confused, gives these kind of confused looks as he kind of comes to terms with what happened. And like as he gets to the ship, he gets more and more composed until he kind of like buttons up the top couple buttons on his on the coat he's wearing, and like kind of like furrows his brow and hardens his stare. And he like walks aboard the ship with his hands behind his back, with the same kind of like concentrated step that he always does. And he looks around. Is Constance here yet?
Not yet, no. Last you heard from her, she and Gamses were trying to sneak their way through Dun Simic back toward the Skyport.
All right.
It cuts to a notebook. Guards allowed to be killed, and then 3 hash marks.
Fair enough. I'm gonna kind of look around, and then I'm gonna pull up my sending stone. Constance, what's your ETA?
Maybe a couple minutes out.
Distance.
Very helpful. I put away the sending stone inside. All right, I look around at my crew.
Who did you bring in with you, and who did you leave on Lord Ostamald's Revenge?
I brought Zaire with us.
Right. Zaire, I think, was the only one who came.
Okay, so the only other people on the ship are crew.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
I'm gonna pull out my sending stone and try and contact. What's their faces?
The O'Dares?
The O'Dares, yes. I'm gonna call in the O'Dares. Roderick, Kelly.
There's a pause, and then you hear over the sending stone, they're not at the helm right now. Should I go get them?
Yes, please. I'd rather bring the sending stone to them, if you will.
just a moment. You hear like some awkward rustling. Wait, no. Okay, there we go.
Anyone who's ever passed a phone off to someone else is familiar with this sound.
Yep. And then you hear like the sound of boots on decking, some creaking, and like a lot of people being loud and rowdy, and then yes, this is Kelly. Yes?
Kelly, I need to ask of your expertise for a moment. Are you familiar with the designs of the, what do you call it, the field around the city? What was that
The
called?
interdiction field.
Do you happen to be familiar with the designs of interdiction fields?
Oh, you lot, pipe down! The sound gets a lot quieter. Well, I can't say that I am. They've been theorized before, but I ain't ever seen one built.
Well, there's one that happens to be around Dunsimic, and is activated.
That was a well-timed train.
Yeah.
I live near trains.
Oh yeah.
Just give it 1 or 2 more sessions before someone triangulates the location of Topet's house.
Alright, you've been challenged. If you can also account for the delay in the stream, that'd be mighty impressive. Well, I'd have to say you're pretty fucked.
Right.
You're
Very
not
helpful.
getting anywhere anytime soon. Not till that field that goes down.
Exactly. And I'm talking to the master of how we get this interdiction field down. It's some kind of technology, so obviously it has a power source of sorts, right?
Aye, if you could find the thing making it, you could try and hit it a bunch.
Very helpful. I'll have to think about it. Do you have any idea what the sort of technology that would create the field would look like?
Well, if it's covering an entire city, it's gonna have to be big. Aye.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Aye, aye.
All right, so
Who's ready for a crawl around some sewers until we find a giant mega plant under the city?
I put
alligators.
away the sending stone, and I'm gonna pull out the lotus, and like look at it for a second. Can I grip it tightly in my hand? All right. Let's see if this thing still works.
Okay, so you pull out your you pull out the spyglass.
Yeah.
I think you pull it out and you like draw it and you go to look at something and then you hear, "Hail! Ho there! Where's the captain of this here ship?"
I'm gonna walk overboard to. So I assume someone's like calling from on the docks.
Yeah.
All right. I'm him. What's your business?
We're and there's the port authority there with probably 4 or 5 guards behind him. We're inspecting all the ships. Couple fugitives loose in the city, just making sure they're not here. You mind if we step aboard for a moment?
Well, I'm very particular about the types of men that step aboard my ship. Do you have orders or some kind of authorization for your search order?
That I do. And he pulls out a slip of paper with a wax seal on it from the governor herself.
All right, I'm gonna go over and take it out and read it. I'm just being a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Before I walk off, I like shoot a look at Zaire. I'm like, if you will, it would be best if you weren't visible.
Zaire will nod. Should I call the others?
That would be best. I like pass off the sending stone to them, and then walk off ship to the and deal with the Port Authority.
Yeah, they walk back into your cabin, and faintly, like, because you're paying attention, you can hear the window open, and then the sound of a breeze.
If anything's scratched, I'm going to.
Constance, you got a call from Zaire. There is a small problem, Constance.
What?
The Port Authority is checking the ship right now. There should be nothing on it, seeing as you are not on it. But if you are nearby, perhaps waiting a small time.
And there's like the scene of me like starting to walk just backwards. And the camera pans, just sees the ship and me just walking backwards.
Yeah, you're in the tower going up to it.
Well, you look at the window. Probably shouldn't. And then turn around and walk down the stairs.
Yeah, Gamses is right behind you, and she's like, "What? What is the problem?"
Well, the port authorities are looking for fugitives on our ship right this second.
Oh, then yes, there is.
We'll not put fugitives on our ship right now. And it's just walking down the stairs, just like.
Yeah, she like presses against the wall, like after you. Meanwhile, up at the ship, while you're perusing this this writ from the governor, the Port Authority says, "Yeah, it's a right shame. There were two women attacked the governor's manor earlier today. That's why this field is up. So we're just making sure they're not anywhere, so that we can make sure the city is as secure as it can be.
Of course.
And then, of course, we'll let you get back to your trade."
Right. Just allow me to look this over. I wouldn't want any missteps. And
Absolutely.
so I'm. Can I roll a charisma check to draw this out for as long as possible? like examining and like being incredibly critical of like.
So, would this be a charisma check just to see how long you stall them?
Yeah, I guess make a deception check.
Alright.
And this will be like how much he buys that you're still looking this over.
You didn't use inspiration.
I didn't.
So
I didn't need to.
So Zaire meets Constance and Gamses at the bottom of the tower, and they say, "Well, if Albert is taking his time up there, perhaps we should find something else to do."
Well, have you ever considered starting a revolution? I start just walking, just like.
No, I have not. Zaire clearly looks like a little concerned by this. Gamses, like, her face gets sort of a dark look on her face. I have seen Revolution, Stormheart. It is not glamorous stuff.
Yeah. You didn't have me before.
I think you're like walking away, right?
Yeah.
Gamses will like grab your arm. "We do not need you, imp. This is not your war. These are not your people."
I just like turn and look at them and be like, "But this is my enemy."
Make a persuade check.
You know what I have way too much of?
Inspiration? I don't think you spent any last session.
No, and I got a bunch. So, I'm gonna use one of my 5 inspirations.
Jeez.
Let's hope you can roll high, because it's just rolling, no bonuses.
Yeah, so. Can you use
Oh!
20 or a 5, you know, one of the two.
Okay, well, which one was first? That's the real question. Okay. Gums is, will let go of your arm. And she says, just do not forget who it is you are fighting for, because it is not your people. It is not your people that die every day. It is your people that profit off of us.
They stopped being my people a while ago.
Gums is nods. Not that she really understands what you mean by that, but like...
And a Genasi touched me.
Oh, yeah, there's like some sparking.
Yeah, like when they went to pull their hand away, there's like shocks, like static electricity shocks between the...
Yeah, I think like the black electricity arcs and sparks small flames on her skin. Yeah, okay. So she's willing to let you help with the revolution.
I'm glad that
we're willing to let her work on our ship.
I mean,
I think one of these is maybe a little bit more important to her. But yeah. So she's not gonna raise a fuss about it as long as you're respectful.
I mean, the revolution is gonna start when I kill the governor.
Yeah.
And
well,
so I'm just gonna sit there for a second. So I want to see how this interdiction field works. Let's steal a ship.
While the Port Authority's walking around? Sorry.
Zaire says, You're kidding, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
No.
Oh, and then they go off in like a string of primordial. It's like an appeal to the elements to like, please, for the love of all, don't let me die.
It's just gonna be a nice, easy. Okay, wait. It's middle of the night. How many like small ships are there on the dock, other than the Pleasure Palace?
It's more than 0.
Okay. And the other question is, if you were just turning on the engine and saying "go forward," how many people does it take?
1?
For like even like a bigger ship size.
Oh, for a larger ship, you would probably be able to do it with 3 people, but it would be a struggle, and it would be slow.
I'm just gonna take a small ship, and then basically I'm going to tell them actually to stay behind, like find somewhere. I'm going to use an ability there. Then I'm going to go just jump on a random ship, start it, and just fly it through the field.
All right.
So
okay.
First, we're going to go back to somewhere safe, and I'm going to use an ability.
Okay.
This is
Nomadic anchor as an action. Oh Jesus. Oh. You make a town portal. Cool.
Yeah, so I just put a anchor, you know, just...
That is fucking insane. Alright.
There's only one spell that can reach it, but...
It's a really easy spell to use.
Okie doke.
I have to read one of my other abilities.
So Albert, I think you've reached the point where you can no longer, like, cross-reference things.
I think I gave basically, I don't think it was just cross-referencing until I stopped. It was like, okay, until Zaire gets off the ship and they kind of like go and do whatever. Give my crew some time to like clean things up, make it look like we're not pirate crew. And
clean the blood, stow the munitions.
You saw there's like a perfect log of everything on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like some poor boarding crew member is like she's sitting at your desk writing down 5 barrels gunpowder. Okay, wait, and like careful cursive.
Yeah. It's like copying from my journal. It's just my journal has all the illegal stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the guards are gonna come onto the ship and begin poking around.
All right, I'm gonna like. So I assume that they take the guard crew off the ship first, while they go and look through it or whatever.
You mean the crew?
The Port Authority. I assume the Port Authority kicks us off the ship while they look through it.
Oh no, you're allowed to stay as long as you don't get in the way.
Okay, I'm gonna like gather up the crew and just like, just look at them and say, "Be sharp. I doubt this evening is gonna be uneventful."
Yeah, the crew is a little antsy, given that probably a portion of them are prisoners. So that's nice. But yeah, roll a deception check just to sort of like see how well your crew did at hiding the contraband and all of that stuff.
Well, there's one inspiration.
Rolls
I don't. This is one. Yeah. Deception check, you said?
Yes.
Boom.
Oh, Jesus. Another 19.
Ooh, what's it gonna be?
Well worth that inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, so your crew did a bang up job hiding everything. The Port Authority goes through and like you can follow him around while he's checking stuff, lifts the lids of crates and like peeks around in crannies. Well, no one here. If you see
I'll make sure to put out I'll make sure to send someone.
Yes, to be clear, there's a young elvish woman. She was last seen wearing a hood, and a fire genasi woman as well, right. Wearing armor. So if you see them, please speak to any of the guards, and they will attend to it.
Now, if you would please get off my ship, I would greatly appreciate that.
Of course, we'll get out of your way. And he goes, the guards are like, they've got their hands on their weapons and they're looking at your antsy crew with suspicious eyes, but they'll go off with the Port Authority.
Yeah. And I'm gonna I'll look at the rest of the crew, like, get back to your stations, go make sure the ship's ready for combat if necessary.
Aye aye. There's like a bunch of scraping from down below decks as they like pull all the munitions out from under the deck boards.
That again. I'm gonna go ahead and so now I'm gonna crack out the
Spyglass.
The Spyglass. Yeah.
It was the Spyglass of Tarhazim.
Yeah. I'm gonna crack that out and like looking kind of off ship. I'm trying to make it look less suspicious than some of my previous uses. Just kind of like in the distance, look through it.
Yeah, so it's like it's a normal spyglass except that it has a bunch of like ancient runes on it, and some etching marks. But to anyone who knows how to use it, there are marked rings on each of the sections that can be rotated, and you know the correct sequence to rotate this thing to be able to see further. And so you like try to remember, you like maybe try once or twice to get the correct combination down, but then you click them into place and you look through and you're like looking out into the desert, and as you like slowly adjust, the eyepiece, you just keep zooming further and further and further until you like hit the mountains.
Yeah. If I remember when we were talking about the way this would work, it was kind of like a. No,
it's the way you know how to use it is to like, most people are like, ooh, this is a nice spyglass. It can see pretty far. But with the combination that you know, it allows you to just continue extending the distance in any one direction as far as you would like.
Okay.
It's possible that it's capable of more, but this is the only thing you know how to do with it.
All right, I'm gonna. So how high up on the tower is my ship?
Probably fairly high. I'd assume they'd keep the bigger ships higher up.
Okay. I'm probably gonna go to like the higher up floors, and just like look over the city with the spyglass and see if I don't notice any kind of like large structures from above, things that didn't seem kind of out of place.
Go ahead and roll a perception check. I assume you're looking for the location of the interdiction field generator.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Well.
Nope.
Does me nothing.
Nope, you don't see anything obvious.
Okay.
You do, however, see a suspicious figure climbing the Skyport tower toward a small ship down below you. Constance, what are you up to?
Why did I think it was a good idea to climb?
Could you roll stealth for me, please?
I guess that's an option. Where's stealth? Okay, it's this one.
Not bad. You are the knight. Yeah. Okay. So you can get up onto this this boat just fine. Not a problem.
So of course I'm gonna be like sitting there like trying to the equivalent. I guess it's a boat. You don't start the engine and go.
Yeah. You start up the ship. You like unfurl the sail and get the engine going. And yeah, you're sailing away from the tower. You may or may not have remembered to unmoor, but I'm sure you get to that eventually.
I believe we've solved this problem in the past by taking the dock with me.
Okay, so there's a crunching and wrenching of wood.
And this is like, it flashes back to us stealing the Pleasure Palace and Constance looking back like, and I just look back like, not for a third time!
Yeah, so you've got this like piece of wood dangling below, bonking onto like the sandstone roofs of these houses that you're flying over.
Yeah, so I'm purposely now trying to steer the ship as like crazily and getting as much attention as possible.
Okay, yeah. So
before heading towards the field, which I assume is not that far off.
Yeah, no, it isn't far. It's maybe 2 minutes flight.
All right, we got this.
So you fly off, and like there are lots of people. Like you can hear murmuring below you as people start to notice what's happening, and look out their windows to see this boat flying low over the houses,
dangling a piece of dock behind it.
Yeah, and then there's a loud like boom, and light falls on you, and you hear a loud sort of like foghorn sound echo across the city, and looking back behind you at the Skyport, you see several large ships unmooring from the Skyport, one of which has these like floodlights trained on you. And
how far behind me?
Back at the Skyport, so, you know, you'll probably be able to outrun them unless they're super fast.
But... Oh yeah, okay, good. I have a head start, and I'm a faster ship.
The question is whether or not you'll be able to outrun their cannons.
Alternate question. How below deck can I be? Well,
I mean, you're not going to be able to steer very well, but you could try and hide down below in the little cabin area.
It's only getting worse. But, until the cannons start getting ready, I'm just going to run for it.
Yeah.
I don't see why they'd waste ammo shooting, and I'm flying over the citizens.
You are. So it's less likely that they'll fire at you. For sure.
Less likely. That's...
Assuming they value the lives of the people you're flying over. Albert...
We'll say something and help the revolt.
Back at the Skyport, these ships are, like, effectively on top of you as they turn on, and you can, like, hear and feel their engines start up as, like, the arcane warps around them. And your sails, the sails on your ship sort of billow as they collect the energy briefly as these ships spin up and start up after Constance. Are you just gonna leave her to her fate, or...?
She wouldn't have stolen the ship if she wasn't doing something. Also, I can't get on the ship. What am I gonna do? Go on these ships and kill people?
Fair point.
She can just jump if it becomes a problem.
She's lived through bigger trouble before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll probably be fine. The ship could probably take, like, 2 cannonballs before it's completely destroyed.
I'm just gonna go back down to our ship. And then I realize, oh wait, shit. I gave the sending stone to Zaire. Ooh. Can I pull out the spyglass again? Can I notice if I spot, like, Zaire and Genzi's or whatever?
I think Zaire and Gemses will be, like, coming onto the ship at this point.
Okay. I'm gonna look to Zaire. The sending stone, please. What is she up to?
They toss you the sending stone. I do not know. Well, I kind of know. It's not... She's not the smartest.
Well, that's no surprise to me. Alright.
Gamsus will, like, cut in, and she's, like, looking over your ship, like, alright, okay. And she goes to the edge, away from the docks and toward where Constance is going, and she grins and she says, your first mate, she is causing trouble.
Ah, quartermaster.
Oh, that thing, yes. But it's beautiful.
She's always causing trouble. Well, it sounds like you'll get along just fine with her then. All right. Do either of you have either of you seen any large buildings around the city, kind of out of place, Magitech? We need to figure out what this interdiction field is coming from, and
the field.
Sabotage it. Yes.
It is the mayor's manor. I saw them bringing the device in some
of course.
week or two ago.
Well, that's fun. Albert just, like, looks down like, fuck.
I like how you still haven't messaged Constance and all of this. You're just like, yeah, well, that's perfect decisions.
Yeah, I just kind of, like, go over to the edge and, like, look down and sigh. How many men do we have aboard this ship? Roughly 40? Taking down the mayor's mansion is going to be harder than just 40 people.
If you have more people like them, and she gestures to Zaire, then perhaps, but...
Right, use the crew to distract and then bring up a full assault.
With so many unremarkable people, I do not mean to classify your crew, but she looks around and one of the crew members, like, at her and then like stumbles. Goes back to work.
You might need a little bit more training. It's only been a couple weeks. Diamonds in the rough.
Well,
all right.
it is worth thinking about if this field ever goes down, she says. And then she looks up, and the I think it's 5 ships have pulled away from the Skyport and are now flying over the city. And you hear like increasing humming sound as the engines of one of them is powered up, and then a large sort of sigil appears in the air in front of one of them, and you hear a roaring sound from this magical glowing sigil. And I think we'll find out what happens next after the break.
After this short commercial break.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit.
A word from our sponsor.